All right. It felt like a work Wednesday. We had the game. We came back. We watched the film and reviewed it. Had a corrections walkthrough. Did our injury report and all that. We came out really clean from the game. Just some bumps and bruises, nothing really of note. And then they had a player's day off. So it felt like a Monday, Tuesday off, and here we go. And I could sense and I could feel that guys were still a little bit sore from the game. The practice, I was nervous that we were going to kind of start out slow. They did not let that happen. The guys got together, they challenged each other, and the energy was great from play one until the end, where it really started to rain on us, and I think it was just a really cool moment for me to kind of point to this afternoon to say, this is it. We don't get do-overs. You think about it, a week in the regular season, you might get 2 live reps and 2 walkthrough reps of a play. And that's about what you get. You got to nail it. You have to be able to bring it and be focused. And it was a great challenge. Felt good to kind of point it out that way.
Dave, we noticed Rob Hahn,
Yeah.
Gordon, Taylor Moden all kind of got banged up a little bit during this last session of team drills.
Yeah.
Any update on those guys?
I've gotten nothing specific about it. Rob went back in and finished his rack. He had like 2 more plays afterwards. They were looking at his ankle, and I noticed he did have tape on his ankle at the end of practice, but he was walking around, got on the cart. So if they have any more information for me, we'll probably let you know the next time around.
What was LeBrian Ray's injury?
Yes, LB was, Bruce, do you remember LeBrian's ankle? So yeah, it was I think it was a mild high ankle sprain, and so he's going to be kind of week to week. I was told that he responded really well to his early initial treatments, and so they're confident that we'll be able to get him back during this preseason at some time. I don't know if it's going to be for this game, but I'm hopeful that he'll be back for the Pittsburgh week in that game.
He is still working on the side. Do you
Yes.
anticipate he'll be back, at least for the joint practices?
I hope so, but I was also, told that if we were playing a regular season game, he would be fine to do that. He would be out there at practice, kind of taking care of it, because we are in preseason mode right now. I think he had some stitches on his in between his thumb and index finger, and so we just got to make sure that thing's healing up the right way, so that no infections happen or there's no setbacks. It's not worth it, to put him in that situation. So, but I think we have a couple of days to see, if we can bandage that up, because I know JC would love to be out there at the practice and compete against other guys. And I love what the Texans have done with their wide receiver room, and 2 Iowa State guys who I liked, Higgins and anybody remember? And Noel, Jalen Noel. So both of those guys kind of adding to that group with Nico Collins, and I'm sure he would be excited to get out there and go against those guys.
Is injury a result of like airbags deploying?
That's what I understand. Yeah, I think it was, not the initial accident, but it was the airbag deployment, and which kept him safe. But there are things that can arise, from that.
I wanted to ask you. You saw Hunter Renfrow back out there today.
Yeah.
Bryson Tremaine had a pretty good look in practice.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked to you about it all summer, but the depth in that receiving room was today just another example of that.
Absolutely. Jalen Coker had another great day. Bryson Tremaine again, just being where he's supposed to be, and playing fast. I think that's the biggest thing is when guys are playing fast, it tells me they know what's going on, that they've been studying and they feel confident, and that's what we've seen out of him. It was great to have Hunter back out there today, running around, getting some one-on-one reps and all that. So it's a very competitive room, and I'm excited to see, as we continue to have these preseason opportunities, to see the guys we can count on.
David, stimulate clarity as far as the center competition?
We talked to Austin and we talked to Cade Mays. They both did a great job. Austin Corbett's going to be our starting center. And we decided to make that decision knowing that this week, going to Houston with the joint practice and then having the game, we felt like those reps, just kind of solidifying who's the starter going to be with Bryce. It's a good time to kind of transition to where he's getting more of those reps versus splitting them day after day. It was really close. I'll be honest. I thought Cade did a fantastic job orchestrating the group when he was out there, getting his snaps off on time, moving people in the run game, anchoring in the pass task. I mean, it was a really close competition, and I think Corbett just kind of brings a level of leadership that just kind of edged him out, in my opinion. So, but again, competition brings out the best in both guys, and I was really proud of the way that they competed.
Plans now for Cade moving forward?
I mean, he's going to be all across the line. He's our backup center for now. He also can play guard, so he's a really valuable, really important piece of what we're doing.
Kicker, any clarity there?
Nope, just going to keep letting him kick. We kind of split them halves, had a few more opportunities in the first half for Matt. Ryan had a nice kickoff that he put on the ground in the landing zone and made his field goal, after what seemed to be about 7 or 8 minutes of kind of sitting there, like TV icing the kicker, and then he, finishes it off with a really nice kick. So I'm excited about both guys. Matt did a great job putting the ball on the ground on our kickoffs as well, with some different, types of looks, which I'm excited about. Like, one of the highlights of the game really was the way that those guys were able to put the ball on the ground in the landing zone.
Dave,
another injury thing. Any clarity on Chandler Zavala?
Yeah, Chandler. So Chandler's getting closer to being back out there, doing some non-contact field work. He's doing run-based stuff right now. The hope is to try to get Chandler back during the Pittsburgh week so he can play the game and just get really, really confident and comfortable with where he's at. It's not something that's going to be completely pain-free for a while, but it's something that we're continuing to just like take his lead and take him through the return to play process to get him back out there.
Really active out there today. Xavier looked really active back there. Do you like the way he bounced back from the incident on Friday night?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got fresh legs. I think he only played that drive, and so of all the guys, probably the freshest coming out there. And but he bounced back quickly. We had a great conversation afterwards. He knows, he wasn't defensive about it. He was like, I got to be better, and kind of just moved on, and he was ready to work today.
the offense kind of on the air and the defense on the ground. When you have like that sort of kind of evened out practice, how much does that kind of help you kind of teach and also just reiterate to players, this is what's good, this is what's bad, sort of thing?
Yeah, it certainly did feel like that. Derek Brown practiced today. That's kind of where the story went with the run game stuff, front side or back side. He was just bringing it every play, and I think the guys kind of feed off of that energy and create some different issues, for us up front. And I was really excited about that. We had some good rushes too. I thought Nick Scorton had a great day. He was all in the pocket consistently, and I think the thing to show the defense is you can play really well, but you give up one big play, it flips the field, and the chances of that drive scoring increase. So it's about the level of consistency across the board, right, with the run game and the pass game, and vice versa for the offense. Like, if we're not making yards in the run game, we're going to be sitting in a lot of second and longs, where we can be balanced and run it some, but we're going to try to get back into a manageable third down situation. And so, and then I just didn't like the way we had a couple of in the last, we had our backed up drill today. You got to get 2 first downs. You start on the -2 yard line, and it's a long way to go. Penalties. We had 2 pre-snap penalties that put us into 2nd and 12s that turned into 3rd and 12, and it's really hard to sustain success there. That's something that we, that showed up in the game. I was hoping we could clean that up, and it showed up again in practice today, so it's something that we'll address in the meetings.
One touchdown where Bryce is kind of rolling out, makes the off-platform throw. Walk through that play and kind of what you saw about that one.
It was a great rush. I saw Mitchell Evans kind of came back to block. I can't remember who was playing the edge on that play, but basically sat him down on it, so Bryce had to go. He had to leave the pocket. He extended, and Jalen just kind of had an angle, stayed on the angle, and they connected down the field, which was really exciting to see.
Dave, you talk about Jalen, he had a good year for you last year, but then you bring in T-Mac first round and Hunter Renfro. I think maybe a lot of us thought maybe he's on the bubble at this point, but I mean, has he made enough plays to make this team, and how do you feel like he's done this?
I mean, hopefully, up to now, like, we're going to play the best guys, and the guys that we can count on, the guys that make plays, the guys that make the catch. I had Tracy Smith's dad, Tater Smith. Tater would always say, a receiver is good is when you throw it to him, they catch it. And Jalen has really showed to be one of the more reliable guys that we have, whether it's contested or he's, open in space. He plays strong to the ball, and he had two really amazing plays in a go ball where he went up over JT Broughton and kind of took it, off of his shoulder and finished the play finished on his feet and ran the ball into the end zone. And you keep showing us like that, he's going to be on the field playing. There's no doubt about it. So, we love all of our guys. I have high hopes for this group in general, but that's the nature of competition, and that's what it does. Is all of a sudden you see people elevate and rise and really show who they are.
Did you talk to him like when you guys brought in a couple? Did you talk to him personally, sit down and say, "Hey, listen, we're bringing in some guys," but
no, not at all. I mean, it's just the nature of what we're doing, and between Dan and I, like, we are going to try to challenge our roster in every which way possible, in free agency, in the draft. After we go through the preseason, we kind of evaluate who's all out there, who do we have on our team, and who are the guys out there. Like, that's the nature of it, and so we don't really take that time to kind of address that with our players. It's just like, hey, look around. There's a lot of competition here. You got to go up, and that's really what we hope for.
Competition. Jimmy Horn Jr.'s had a pretty good camp.
Yeah.
He was kind of low on the depth chart. How much stock do you put on that opening depth chart, and then how do you communicate that to a young guy like Jimmy?
Honestly, it's just pushing him to grow every day. Show us that we have to have you here. Show us that we have to put you on the field. Show us that we can count on you. And those are things that he's taking strides in, and that he's really competing. He's one of the first guys in the building. He's give love to Keyshawn Coleman, one of our quality control coaches, who is constantly with Jimmy before, after practice, after meetings. He's working the right way. It reminds me of a young David Moore, 7th round pick out of East Central Oklahoma, and I spent every second that I could with David Moore for about 2 years, to the point where now he's had a really successful career, on a couple of different teams. But it's that type of work, it's that type of development and mindset that Jimmy has, that he wants it, and that goes really far with us.